What's going on, YouTube family? This is Jimmy from Raymundo Family Reptiles and my son.
Hello.
Philip? You gotta say Philip. Right? You know you gotta say Philip, right? Okay. Alright, anyway, Philip's not that talkative, but you put a baseball bat in his hand and he's still not talkative. So, I don't know if that was a corny joke, but whatever. Anyway, today we're going to discuss upper respiratory infections in your snakes. Now, I currently don't have any animals with an upper respiratory infection, so we are going to supplement one. I'm going to show you how to take care of that infection. Ball pythons, they usually don't get them unless they're housed in really cold situations, spikes in temperature that drop real low, stress, mites is a big one, right? Mites in your collection could be a big one, and you can transmit, the mites can actually transmit the upper respiratory infection from snake to snake, and you'll never get rid of those respiratory infections just transfer all around your collection. You won't know why until you get rid of the mites. Once you get rid of the mites, you'll watch the respiratory infections get under control really quickly. Anyway, another thing, they can get upper respiratory infections if your snake doesn't get exercise. If you just power feed it and power feed it and power feed it and it just lays in the cage all day and doesn't get a chance to crawl around or anything, well, then your snake could actually develop, like I like to call it, like the couch potato respiratory infection. So it gets an upper respiratory infection because it's not moving, it's not exercising. You know, and it's just like human beings. They say that we have to get to the gym and exercise to stay healthy and fit. Well, that's true with reptiles as well. They need to move around and stay active so that they stay healthy, their muscles are conditioned, and they don't get respiratory infections. So respiratory infections, by the way, can be deadly if left untreated, and the snake or other reptile can't fight off the infection naturally. So anyway, you have two choices. You could bring your snake to the vet, or you can go with this setup here. And this setup is treating the upper respiratory infection not through antibiotics, which is the standard method. If you don't have, if you go to the vet and they prescribe something like Baytril, where you have to give your snake a shot every other day for like 5 days, and then hopefully that does it. Well, that's a strong medication. What we got here is something you can purchase on Amazon, and I'm not getting money from the F10 company. I'm just showing you what works. F10, this is it's really like it's non-toxic. It says biodegradable, non-irritating, safe for all pets, veterinary disinfectant. So it's made to wipe down like surfaces and stuff, and it kills the viruses, bacteria, so forth. So what you do is you purchase that. It's about $19.99 on Amazon, or your local pet store might carry it, or maybe Petco or PetSmart carries it as well. You got your Reptifogger, which is just a misting machine. It's a fogging machine. You can get this at also on Amazon, or I'm assuming you can order from any big chain who sells reptile supplies, or your local reptile supply dealer online, or a brick and mortar store. What you need is a tub. I get these tubs at Amazon, not on Amazon, but Walmart. These tubs are about $10. I forgot what quart size this is, but it's about 1.5, like 18 by 24. So these are really good tubs, well, yeah, that's it. We'll get to it. By the way, this is our Burm. This is our 4-gene Burmese python, Niklaus, and he's got his. This is the male. The girl, his partner, is Haley, and we named them after the show, the originals. So, anyway, and it's a beautiful snake. You know, the Burms get really big. This guy's about a year old. So we feed him once a week. We don't try to power feed him, just a medium rat once a week. So, he's growing pretty good. So here's how you set it up. You take your Reptifogger, take your F10, you fill this up right here, okay? The top comes off, you take it to your sink, put your warm water, okay, not ice cold if you're gonna treat the animal right away, because you want the water to acclimate to room temperature, maybe, or you just use warm water. Fill it up almost all the way, and then you take your F10, you squirt about halfway, see how it fills up when you press? It'll fill up this little chamber right here. So this little chamber you press. Okay, now I use too much. There's a line here where you only go halfway. I just want to show you how it filled up. But you go halfway right there, and then you dump it in here. So you go halfway to this chamber, dump it in there, mix it up, and now you're ready. Put the cap back on. Notice my Repti fogger is already plugged in. These are really easy to set up. All you do is fill the water chamber, and this has a little spring hinge here. When the spring's depressed, the water gets released. So it's on there now. This hose comes with the Repti fogger. You make your little hole with like some kind of like unibit or a hole saw, or you could use a knife and just cut it as best you can. I'm a contractor as well, so handyman type contractor, whatever you want to call it. I use hole saws and things like that, so it makes nice holes. But you stick the hose in here, and it'll just stay in. It'll stay in fine. Okay. Here's the underside. I usually put some paper towels down as the bedding because it's going to get a little damp in here. Okay. And and when we turn it on, watch. Turn on the machine. I'm going to turn it on high first so you can see what comes out. Now you should start seeing. See how it's coming out over here? See the fog? That's what they call it, the Repti fogger. Now that's the F10 solution, okay? That's the F10 solution coming out mixed with the water. And it's gonna fog the whole chamber, okay? So you just leave that for 15 minutes. 15 minutes, I would say once a day for like a week, and see if that does the trick. Because what's gonna happen is the snake is gonna inhale F10. It's airborne, the F10. It's mixed with the particles in the air. So in this chamber, you can put like one little hole for venting, but the snake's not gonna be in here long. So it really doesn't need that much oxygen. But you want them to breathe the F10. The F10 is gonna attack. It's gonna breathe in the F10. It's gonna go through its respiratory system, and the respiratory infection, any kind of viruses or bacteria that are kind of attacking the snake in the respiratory area, they're going to get killed by the F10 because it kills bacteria. And that's the whole principle. It kills bacteria and viruses, stuff like that. So the hose is going to go in there. We have our volunteer. Okay, we don't have a real snake with a respiratory infection. So what's his name, Philip?
Jerry.
This is Jerry, our in-house, plastic snake friend. So we're going to put Jerry inside. See how, now you might have to turn it down. Now we're going to turn it down a little bit. We don't want that much coming out. But you see how it's coming out pretty good once it gets warmed up, right? So that's going to be breathing it. See, I can breathe it in. It's not killing me. And then you just cap it. Lock them in so your snake can't get out. You want to make sure this hole isn't too big so the snake doesn't like kind of worm its way out, especially babies or anything. But now you just leave it 15 minutes. Put your timer on. 15 minutes go by. You take the snake out and just put him back in his cage. Remember, you do that about once a day, 15 minutes, and then that's it. Put him back in his cage for about a week. If the respiratory infection doesn't go away in about 2 weeks, you could do this for 2 weeks too. If it doesn't go away in 2 weeks, you might have to go to the vet. Remember, this is just something, maybe a first step in fighting the upper respiratory infections. If you're not that I would say experienced with dealing with them, I'm just showing this is one tool you can use in your arsenal. Your next step would definitely be go see a vet, and they're going to give you something like Baytril, and they have some other antibiotics that are they can really pinpoint what type of infection it is, and they're designed specifically to treat different infections. But Baytril is kind of like the generic one size fits all antibiotic for reptiles. Remember, we always use sanitary hand washing. So after you're done, you take your, say it's been 15 minutes, ding, buzzer goes off. Shut your mister down, Repti fogger down. Take Jerry, check him out. He's all healthy and stuff. Good, put him back in his cage, okay? Lock him up, make sure he's got water, and put him on. By the way, when you're keeping the guys isolated with respiratory infection, remember that is transmissible. So you want to make sure you use, wash your hands, or some alcohol-based hand gel sanitizer, and make sure you got paper towels in the bottom of Jerry's cage or snake's cage, and that's it. It's I'd say this works about 60-70% of the time if the respiratory infections aren't that severe. I used to do this a lot when I used to work in some pet stores when I was younger, and people used to bring me their snakes that had upper respiratory infections. And I had a little setup in the back, so I'd hold on to their animals for like a week or two in the store, and I would just treat them, just as a courtesy, because they bought the animals from us. And like I said, I was back in my younger days, and we had other types of misters back then, but same principle. You could use a vaporizer. There's a lot of different ways you can go, but they've been selling these for about 20 years. not the Reptifogger itself, but there used to be, I forgot the name of them, but there used to be different ones that weren't even for reptiles. They were just like misting machines. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, share. You have any comments, leave it in the comments. Hopefully I can read through and get back to you, especially with upper respiratory infections. We don't want anybody's reptiles dying. But yeah, if you have any questions, just hit us up. And don't forget, we have over 70 snakes right now on MorphMarket, with more coming every day. When we get them their 6 meals, we post them, and you can see them. You can bid on them and buy them if you want. But yeah, okay. You guys take care of yourself, and happy holidays.
Bye.